Hey everyone, it is Natalie from Being Intentionally Creative. And once again, it's amazing how often I make this space look incredibly crowded. And obviously it is, but we're not actually going to do a resin piece today. What we're going to be doing today, one of the items I bought off of Amazon.com and paid probably way too much for, but it happens sometimes. You do that as a creative artist. I bought these Artistro metallic paint pens. I wanted to try them out. These have got an extra fine tip, which I don't know about you, but sometimes I like an extra fine tip. I like the chrome markers. I have actually both sets. I have J. Dictions and Let's resins. And I like them for certain projects, but sometimes I like something that's got a really fine tip to it. So when I was looking at other things on Amazon.com, I saw these and I thought, well, why not? Now, the interesting thing about these, and we'll get into sort of the colors. Well, here's the trick with these. You have a choice. The colors are all listed here on the back, and they have corresponding numbers on them. So I don't know if you can see that, but that says 14 AM. So the 14 AM is the Deep Space Blue. And I'm not sure why they don't put the colors on the side. I love having the names of the colors I'm dealing with on whatever I'm using, whether it's crayon markers, pens, what have you. I do like it. Now, would you need to maybe make up tags and put these on the side of your markers? Maybe, maybe not. That's, that's a preference for sure. I'm going to hold on to this for a bit until I get to the point of potentially putting the colors on them. Again, does it matter? Probably not, because they even have these little bands around them that give you an indication of what the colors, potentially are. So again, does it matter? And you can always test it on something before you go to use it on your project. So for this one, which is the 4 AM, this is Ruby Slippers. Okay. Now, the interesting thing when I sort of opened up this package was I had this packet here, and I'm looking at these going, I have no idea what these are. They didn't tell me on the package, and some of you are probably saying there, well, I know what those are, Natalie, and that's perfect. I took a few minutes to have to actually figure out. I'm assuming that they are extra nibs. They sort of match up, or now I want to say they're extra nibs, and I don't know whether they're exactly the same size or a little bit bigger. I'm not going to yank one of these out to find out, and maybe what I need to do is go online and have a look at that. But I figure they've got to be extra nibs that they have. But anyways, these came in the package along with the markers. And then, as usual, I'm going to put those safely aside, hopefully. It has some notes that came with it. So here, this was in the package as well. So I'm going to tag them. I paid for these. Artistro didn't pay. I bought these. And yeah, again, I won't go into the whole how much Canadian dollar is not doing well right now. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so they give you their links as to finding them. And I guess they have other things as well. Okay, so I will be tagging them in this. Now, they say this is perfect for a variety of surfaces: rock, ceramic, metal, wood, porcelain, fabric, glass, stone, paper, and more. And I always love when people say "and more." What I did was I went wandering around to find different things we could test this on. Now, before I go any further, I will let you see here they've got a list of the different types of markers they have, just in case you're interested. So that is that. I don't think there's anything else on this package that we need to go over. No, I don't think so. So we'll put that off to the side too. Now, I am not going to test all these markers from a color perspective. No, I'm going to only be doing 3 of them. So I'm going to take these other ones and put them off to the side because we don't need those. The blue one I've already tried, okay? So I'll open that up so you can see. I already used that on paper. So I got paper here. Maybe that's why I have this piece of paper here. Let me get him out of the way. So paper. And it does work on paper. If it didn't work on paper, I'd be really shocked. Really, really shocked. These, like most markers that come like this, shake these up because I haven't done anything with these two. And to get them going, like most of these markers, you just go down a couple of times and then let the ink come, or the paint or what have you, come into the tip. And I try to be careful with these. I think sometimes I overdo it with getting the ink into the nib, which then causes me problems because then it gets too thick, right? Well, maybe not for you. For me, it gets too thick. So that is, I'm going to say gray, but I kind of think it's silver. But let me see. This is 16. Oops, there goes stuff. 16, where are you? This is, now I'm going to have a hard time saying. This is called obsidian. Obsidian. Which to me would sort of be like a black, but it's not really looking. It almost looks like it has, I don't want to say a copper in it, but a different color. So I don't really know what that's supposed to be. And that's totally fair. It doesn't really matter for this video. And I think, what's the number on this one? This is 8. This is fairy dust. I love the names they come up with for these things. It makes me think of eye candy and their colors. We're almost there. There we go. So those are the 3 colors we're going to work with. And then we have a variety of things we are going to check these out on. So I went underneath my deck and I got myself a rock. I painted part of it and I've left the other part just the rock because I wanted to see how well, so the idea of this is let's test them out. Let's see how they work on different things. And this helps you. You know, you may be looking for a fine tip marker of some sort instead of the really thick chrome markers to do some stuff with. And I just thought, well, if I'm going to have them, I might as well show them to you. No, it's not a resin project, or a ceramic resin, but that's okay. Sometimes you got to, leap and do totally different things. It gives me a break and it gives you something else to, play with, imagine, get ideas for. And I love when I give you ideas. So I just used regular Craftsmart acrylic paint, white, on the stone. I only did basically 1 coating. I kind of doubled it up while I was doing that 1 coat. But there we have it. So I'm trying to think, you know what, I'll do some lines. And I would be really careful, like on anything hard or rough like this, because you don't want to, you don't want to press too hard with these tips like this because I've pressed too hard. And this is coming out really easy. Now, the blue may not be the best color. I'm calling it blue. It's the deep ocean, deep space blue. Yeah, there you go. So let's just, there, we'll just do something like that. And that, okay. So that went on really easily. I kind of wanted to see for myself as well, and I thought this would be a good video to do it in, is, what can I do it on? And the other thing we're going to do some testing on is I want to know how streak resistant this stuff is. This isn't a good color for that. I want to know if once it's dry, if I can run my fingers through it and it's not going to bleed or do anything weird like that. So this past weekend has been a wicked weather weekend. Saturday, I woke up, I didn't sleep well Friday night. Saturday morning, I was up and outside at 5:30 in the morning, and it was snowing. It snowed all day. All day. Oh. My husband, being a trucker, left for Kentucky on Sunday. At least when he left, it was not snowing, which was a good thing. So he's got maybe some, yeah. I always say to people, have a good trip. I don't say have a safe trip. I figure just tell people to have a good trip. That's more important to me. Anyway, so it was crazy here on Saturday. I tell you, it was crazy. We had, I know I'm digressing here. That's okay. We had 2 to 3 foot drifts in our driveway. That's how much snow we got. It was crazy. Anyway, I still have some snow to clean up. Okay, so there's the rock. Now, this piece of ceramic resin, I put a couple of coats of the Mix to Mold matte sealer on this. I had watched one of Steve McDonald's videos, and he talked about sealing ceramic resin before you put a marker on it because of the fact that it could potentially bleed. So what we're doing here is I've got a couple of pieces. So you may or may not remember the sleigh I made out of ceramic resin that ended up breaking when I took it out of the mold. And I also have this guy here. So we're going to do a couple of tests. First off, and I know I could do the other side of this because it's got nothing on, but it's purple. So I really want to do it on the white. So we're just going to see how this fares from, doing this metallic stuff on it. I'm trying to be artistic. I don't draw. So don't have any expectations here that this is going to be anything mind-blowing, because it is not going to be that at all. I need a stencil to be, mind-blowing. Yeah, I don't draw. I think I got fairly decent penmanship, but I don't draw. Okay. So why did I get these? As I say, it's for the intricate pieces. Some of the molds we have really tight spots for you to try and get, and the chrome markers won't go into them. So I figure, well, if I get these, then I have the potential of getting into those, really fine lines with some really cool colors that are metallic. Okay, so there's that. So let's go back to our piece of paper. Okay, not coming off of my hand. So that's brilliant. I like that. Now I am curious about one thing, and I don't have any water here. I almost want to see what would happen if I dabbed water on there. So I might have to stop the video, go grab some water, and then try it just to see what happens. So I might do that at the end. All right, let's go to our stone. No, it's not coming off of my finger. I just want to turn that up to you so you can see. And I think that's really important too, because I get things wear over time, that's fair, but you don't want to be smudging stuff on your pieces, like if you accidentally got your finger into something. So it's not smudging. Now, would it do it? Okay, so let's test this out. Let's just we'll give it like a few seconds to sit there. Da-dee-da-dee-da-da. Okay, so you're going to have to let it dry. So just pointing that out. And my video camera, we need to plug it in. So keep that in mind, okay? Let it dry. But I thought I would do that just for sake of doing it. Get off my finger. Ooh, a wet wipe might work. Get that off my finger, because I don't want to have a false, test, because I've got wet fingers. So let's see what happens. They're going to get wet now anyways, aren't they? This will work. Okay, so it is taking the color off, right? Yeah. It's not, the blue's coming off easier, but yeah. So I don't recommend doing this unless, you know, you really wanted to try and get the color off, but yeah, see, I'm taking the paint off of that one. That's hilarious. Marker seems to be saying though. Yeah, it's coming off a little bit, but yeah, alcohol might take it off better. I mean, if you really messed up a piece and you could get it off, then alcohol might be the way to go, but I don't know. I just really wanted to test from a water perspective, so I want to make sure that I'm getting, yeah, it's taking a little bit of the blue off. So maybe it just depends on the color. But, okay. So, I don't know what's in baby wipes, to be honest with you, so there might be something in there that's causing it to, you know, take it off a little bit. I don't know. It's not like pure water, but that's okay. It's kind of close. So let's do this piece now. Actually, you know what? We're going to do this guy. We'll work on him a little bit because I want to know if it's going to spread out. Are you in? Yeah, okay. I seriously need my other glasses on for this. I did some of these up for my one sister using mica powder in the mold. Oh, that took me forever to do. I want to do something that's got a little bit more. Let's do the fairy dust. Because what I want to know is whether or not, because when we look at that, like I'm wanting to get that as closest to the camera as I can. Like that's not going into it. Like that's not spreading out. I've got some markers here that I don't know what, again, I don't know what the product has in it, but like you put it onto something like this and it would just spread out. But these aren't. And maybe it's because, I mean, they're considered a, give me back my packaging here for a minute. Metallic paint pens. Maybe that makes, you know, a whole bunch of difference depending on the product you're using. And that's where this will come in really handy. So I apologize for you not being able to see what I'm doing, but something that's fine. I am not going to try doing this with my left hand. But that's not spreading out anywhere, which I think is cool, right? So to be able to do fine detail and not have it spread, that's cool. Now the other thing I've noticed too with the chrome markers, so I'm kind of testing this out, is if you go over the chrome markers, so you do your first stripe through, I've been finding that I need to let it dry before I go over it again, because if I don't, it seems to pull the first layer of chrome marker product and then you're left with gaps in your piece, but that didn't do it, which is kind of cool. So it's not, I mean, this has not been sealed. This is just ceramic resin. This has been sitting around, yes, for a while. So it's fully dry, but it's not, you know, going out into spaces other than what I've done. Let's see, what else can I do? Let's do his knee pads here, or the top of his boots, I guess. Now this is really where a better, like a thicker marker would do, but I'm sort of using the side of this now. Keep looking to make sure you're in view. It's doing a really good job of covering this too. Yes, this would take me hours to do by hand. Because every once in a while my hand starts to shake. And then it's getting in those really, yeah, as I concentrate and stop talking. Don't all cheer at once. All right. Just want to try and get it. All right. So that's kind of cool. So maybe it's because they're a paint pen and they're not an alcohol ink pen. That may be the difference as to why they don't bleed. But I like, as I say, my big thing was I wanted something that was precise. So that's kind of cool. It didn't bleed on that, which is nice. That's a good to know. See, and this piece hasn't been sealed either. Yeah, that hasn't been sealed either. So we don't need to do that because it kind of follows along with the other one. And I would work at getting the thicker markers if I was going to paint something like that. You'd take forever to do that. But design-wise, okay, glass. Some of you may know what that is. I actually store things in this. I'm not a shot person. I'm a wine and beer person. Okay, now maybe that's the wrong color. Might not show up bright enough. Let's do the fairy dust. So let's just do that. A shot. And let's do that. Let's do the blue. Okay. So it went on there really smoothly, which is brilliant. Now I'm definitely going to let that sit because I figure if I wipe that right now, that's probably going to just smear all over the place. So that one I am going to let sit. Okay, can you see that? Hopefully. I'll let that sit for a couple of minutes before I start touching that. All right, we are going to move on to resin. So this piece, you'll notice it already has some silver on it. This has nothing to do with this product. I'd done that. I think I used one of my chrome markers to do that. Again, how's it gonna stick to? For anyone else who does videos out there, do you ever find when you're doing something that really requires your concentration, you stop talking? When I'm driving, if the weather's bad and I really want to focus, I don't have my radio going. I find it to be a distraction, and I was just like, no, I need to focus right now. That's what this reminds me of. So it's going on the resin really easily, which is nice. Am I sort of out of camera? Again, if I'm missing, like going over spots that shouldn't have them on, it's because I don't have my other glasses on that help me see the really fine detail in things. All right. Once I get this done the way I want, we're going to go back to our glass piece. And we're going to swipe our fingers through that. It's not coming off. Now, I am curious if I take my nail. Yeah. Okay, so again, you know, you take your nail and you're going to scratch that off. Yeah. So let's go to, I think it depends on the product too, right? Like what you're putting it on. I mean, I can scratch that, but yeah. Again, I know you're not going to do that, but I always think it's kind of cool if you can, you know, play just to see what will happen. So if you scratch this, it's going to come off the glass. So I don't really know. I don't work with glass as such, like doing designs on glass or doing pours, that kind of thing. I don't do that. So if anyone who is watching this works with glass and does something like this, is there something that we have to seal this with, or is it just a matter of, well, you know, wash it by hand, don't scratch it, it's going to wear in, you know, just in day to day, whatever. I have some glasses, wine glasses that I got from Pier 1 that have painting on them. I mean, I've never tried to scratch it off, but I don't know if there's anything you do to protect it, or if there really needs to be a specific glass paint that you use versus something like this. So I don't know. Okay. Now that's not really fair. I see pink on this hand, blue on this hand. I want to get that off. Okay, you know what we're going to do? We're going to use this. We're going to use this finger now. But so a little bit of that is coming off. Now maybe it hasn't set long enough, but yes, I am getting a little bit of blue on my hand, on my finger. So that may need to sit longer to seal it up. Again, I don't foresee people. I'm just wanting to see what this will do. This is another piece of resin. So let's just do up around here. And I guess depending on what you're doing, like you could potentially sand your piece down, then do your artwork with these pens and then seal it. So that you didn't have to, you know, concern yourself about someone rubbing it off. So I can still, obviously still see that is damp. So that's going to take a few minutes to dry. Now, we'll go to the wood. I have silicone here. I have it here for a reason. Okay, so wood. Let's see if it, well, we did. No, we didn't. We did the rock, didn't we? So let's see what happens when we put this on. This is unsealed wood. I've got nothing on this. Let's do the back of it. The reason I brought out the unsealed wood was because I wanted to know if this would bleed. Okay, it's not bleeding in the wood, which is interesting because well, it is a little bit, but it's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. Okay. And then we've got, this has got paint on it. I did that because I was making a mold out of this. So let's see how this fares. All right. Let's do the fairy dust. Again, I don't, let's see. Haven't really done much with this okay, I'm not even going to try. Obsidian. Okay. So it goes on really easily on something that's been painted and or like this resin. I mean, it's really smooth going on. Again, I wouldn't touch that because I can still see it's wet. So definitely got to let stuff like that dry. We'll leave the silicone for last. Put that off the side. So we have plastic here. So So let's see. I think depending on what you're doing on, you're going to want to let it sit longer. I mean, I think of the rock as being somewhat of a porous material, the wood for sure being porous, the ceramic resin not covered in anything being that way. Yeah, let's let those sit. I don't want to smear that because I think it'd smear really easily. Now they didn't say about, oh, they did say metal. So this is, I'm trying to get the glare away from you. All right. You know what? We're going to bring out the, did they call that ruby slippers? What did they call that? Yes, they did. Let's bring out the ruby slippers because I want you to be able to see on that. So you can see that I had not used it before. It's just filling up now. Just a couple more. There we go. Okay. Now, obviously, depending on what material putting on this, the color, I think, will shift a little bit. So there we have it on. Can you see? Now, that's hard to see, isn't it? I don't know. Right here. As I almost stick my fingers in it. So, writes easily on that. Let's let that dry and then smear our finger through it. See what happens. Let's go back to the plastic and see what it has done. So that's dried on there nicely. So that's good to know. Okay, put the plate off to the side. We'll come back to our wood piece that's been painted. I don't think I sealed that with anything. I think all I put on that was paint. I don't think I sealed that with anything. It's been a while. Okay, so again, not smearing. Don't you just love when people show you things like this, but you can't really get it in the right light? Hopefully you can see that fine now. Okay, and then the metal. So it's sticking to that too. It's got a bit of a raised feel on that, but it's not coming off of my finger. Okay, cool. Put that off here. Don't want to knock anything over. Okay, now, I don't know about you. I would love to find something that would allow me to write on silicone, especially my molds, so I can fill it up and go, oh yeah, that's 40 mils, or that's 200 mils, or that's sort of like the resin is doing, but you can't read it. Wouldn't it be great if they could do that in color? Oh, that would make my life so much better. Then you wouldn't be searching for it, and you could see it really clearly. So let's just try this out. I'm going to do it up here on the handle part. I just want to know what it's going to do. Like, I know silicone is a challenge and a half. Like, I can see that. Now, you may not be able to, but I can see it sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Bubbling up, pooling, not quite, but at least it's on there. So we're going to let that sit and dry. Now, I brought out two different containers because this has got a really shiny coat to it. And this one not so much. I mean, this has been well loved, just to let you know. But I'm going to write just up here beside the number. So this is a 100 ml jug. Okay. All right. And then it goes down. Where's my 50? Is that 60? No, that's 60 here. Is it? Yeah. 20, 40, 60. Really want, you know, if for nothing else, if I can write on silicone and have this stay, they will have more than paid for themselves. Seriously will. All right. So let's do another color, just because we can. Just around. the edge. Now, will this wear off? I mean, even if it does stick, again, it may wear off in time. I don't know. But I've noticed with other markers, so I have a Sharpie here that I've used on some of my stuff. Let's do the fine tip on this. Okay, so it beads, that's the word I was looking. This beads a lot more. I mean, I can write on this, but that's going to fade away really. The fact that this stuff isn't beading near what the Sharpie is doing. Okay, let's go back to this one. Wow, that's kind of cool, people. I mean, I get it. It's going to wear off, you know, with what we put these through. But if I can put that on there for now, and it's not beading and it's, you know, actually sticking on there for any length of time, that really does make my life a lot easier. Because these ones that have the numbers on the inside, I don't like that because you get all your stuff getting caught in there. But I can't read that. Even with my close-up glasses, they help. But these are really hard numbers to read. Yes, I'm getting older. I will admit to that. Okay, so let's see this. Okay, this stuff sticking to silicone, well, makes this so worth my while. I know, it's the small things that amuse me. Yeah, isn't that great? The Sharpie's sticking on there too. It's not coming off either, but which would you rather have? I rest my case. That's it. That's all. Okay, now I am, because I don't know what was in there. So this is this one. This was our gray. I'm going to call it gray. Not the best color to use on this because it really, but it's not coming off, which is great. Again, using the baby wipe. So yeah, I'm wondering if there's something in the baby wipe that's causing that to come off. Yeah. So I would be careful of whatever liquid you decide to use. Now, the other thing I do want to try, so we're going to take this. That's my alcohol. This will be my last test, and then I'm going to stop because I think you've gotten enough of a view of, you know, what this is like, what to expect. Again, I don't draw. Can you tell? If I practiced, I could do this, but I don't need to. With all the other people in the world that can draw, I don't need to be able to draw. All right. So we're going to let that sit and set up for a moment or two. This, I still think, okay, so as I look at the wood piece away from you, but again, I mean, it bled a little bit initially and it was coming across the grain, but not bad. Not bad. Let's put a little bit of ruby slippers in there and see what happens. I think I'm going to enjoy these markers. Or paint pens. Call them what you will. Okay, so again, it's staying within their lines. Have I got that right so you can see that, people? It's hard. I've got this small little camera spot to look into to see that I'm in focus, or not in focus, in frame. But it didn't bleed. So that's kind of cool. Again, small things. All right, now, first off, I'm going to take one of these. Not my baby wipe. Rubbing alcohol. Let's see what happens. Okay, so that will take it off. So I guess if you messed up, doesn't have the alcohol on it. If you messed up and you needed to get this off, you could. How well, and I mean, and of course that's making my resin kind of sticky, icky now. So again, I wouldn't maybe recommend doing it that way, but alcohol will take it off. But it all depends if you want to. I have to admit though, what I'm seriously super impressed about is the silicone. So just because I can, and you're here, so let's do this. Let's put a little more alcohol on here. I want to see if it wipes it off that. If you got these, you could run these tests all on your own, but yeah, so you can rub it off the silicone. But why would you want to? Anyway, I want to put my 60 back on there, and we know how quickly alcohol evaporates. So let's do this, 60. All right. That's it. That's all I've got for you. That's what this video was all about, was just to check out these Artistro metallic paint pens. I may be able to find these on Amazon.ca. I can't remember if I looked or not. And as I've said before in previous videos, sometimes when you order off of Amazon.ca, you're paying a lot more than you would off .com. However, when the Canadian dollar isn't doing that well, you might be better off buying on the Amazon.ca. So that's what this video was about, was so I could show you all the different ways you could use these markers. I like the fact that we've got 12 really, they're cool looking colors, right? And they're fine tip. And interestingly enough, so as I think about, they've got all the different nib sizes, which is brilliant. So I'm wondering if, we could find, if we went looking, find the, same colors, but with the different nib tips, if you really like this set. But anyway, I wanted to try it out, and I thought this is a quick, easy video for you guys to get a sense of what you can do with it. Love it. Love this. That impresses me a whole bunch. Now I can mark my molds. Hopefully. I don't have, well, that's a lie. I do have one here. So let's see. I mean, even if I write it on the front. So this, granted, this is a matte versus a shiny, but yeah. I'm just going to put mil on here because I don't know how much this stuff takes. Again, yeah, it's a tree mold. I get it. So let's just write mil on this. Now, the other thing I wonder about too is if it would soak into, but as long as you were doing it someplace that didn't matter. So let's give that a moment to dry up, because I don't want to run my finger through that. Anyway, so doing anything creative today? Getting back into the swing of things now that the holidays are officially over. Our next one is February, I want to say the 16th. It's Family Day here in Canada. It's still a bit damp. And of course Valentine's Day, but that's not a holiday. That's just a day. As I blow it off. Alrighty, okay. Just wanted to get that out. So, I don't know if there's any of that gold coming off of my finger or not. No, I don't think so. Works for me. Anyway, thank you for following along on this non-resin type video. I just thought it would be handy to do something a little different, give me a little bit of a break from the whole resin perspective for this day, and know that I got some really cool markers that I can now use to do those fine lines that I've been wanting to do. I've got nothing else. So thank you for joining me. I hope you found this video useful. And I will see you in the next one. Take care and bye for now.